Episode 5, Winter's Heart. Part 1. December 24th, Christmas Eve. Aino woke to silence. Not the oppressive silence of grief, but the peaceful silence of snow-covered morning. She lay in bed for a moment, watching pale light filter through her curtains. Last year, Grandpa had called her at 6 in the morning. Paprika, his voice had boomed through the phone. Christmas Eve. You know what that means. It's too early, Grandpa, she had groaned. It's never too early for Sabbath. I'm coming over for breakfast and we're starting this day right. Aino smiled at the memory. Her eyes stung, but not in a bad way. It hurt, but it was a good hurt. The kind of hurt that meant love was still there. She got out of bed and walked to her window. The world outside was pristine white. The sun was just rising, painting everything pink and gold. Her phone buzzed. A text from Mom, Merry Christmas Eve, sweetheart. Grandpa would be proud of you. Red heart. Aino typed back, Merry Christmas Eve, Mom. I know he is. She got dressed, black jeans, Grandpa's Iron Maiden shirt, the one she'd taken from his things, a red flannel. She looked at herself in the mirror. Merry Christmas, Paprika, she said to her reflection. Then she went to her bookshelf and took out the leather bag. Part 2. The attic was cold in the morning light. Aino's breath made clouds in the air as she climbed the narrow stairs. The record player sat waiting, as it had for days. The leather bag felt heavier than usual in her hands. She took out the record and held it, looking at the cover one more time. Christmas Metal Tales Symphony, Libretto Orchestra and Company. Black and silver, orchestral and metal merged into one perfect thing. She had heard all 7 songs. Experienced all 7 worlds. Learned all 7 lessons. So why was she here? Aino placed the record on the turntable. But instead of choosing a specific track, she moved the needle to the very beginning. Track 1. She wanted to hear it all. One more time. All together. The music began. Part 3. But this time was different. When the demonic choir started singing Tenebrae Natalis, Aino didn't fall into the world. She stayed in the attic, standing in front of the record player, but she could see it. Like a window had opened in the air in front of her. The demon's Christmas celebration. The fire. The choir. The elegant demon who had taught her that darkness isn't the enemy. The music continued, and the vision shifted. The metal festival where everyone belonged. Amara with her headscarf and metal patches. Henrik with his gray beard. Thousands of people united in metal sound. Metal night exploded across the vision, lights and stars in pure, unbridled joy. The soprano and bass tenor trading lines. The crowd jumping as one. Then Santa's army marching through snow, teaching about responsibility and consequences. The warrior Santa and his elf soldiers. The lesson about actions and their weight. Rudolph's red nose blazing through the storm, metal music lighting the way. Your difference is your power. The brutal white Christmas storm where people celebrated winter's raw truth. No pretense. No sugarcoating. Just honest, fierce reality. And finally, the snowman. Coming to life, knowing he would melt, accepting his temporary nature. But in winter's heart I'll wait, for another frozen fate. All 7 worlds, all 7 lessons, flowing together like one continuous story. And Aino understood. They weren't separate lessons. They were all parts of one truth. Christmas, real Christmas, is everything. Light and darkness. Joy and sorrow. Unity and individuality. Responsibility and freedom. Power in difference. Beauty in impermanence. Life and death and rebirth. And you can be all of those things too. You can contain multitudes. You can be sad and happy, strong and vulnerable, alone and connected, all at the same time. You can be completely, wholly, perfectly yourself. The visions faded as the record played the final notes of Snowman. The needle lifted automatically. Aino stood there, tears streaming down her face, but smiling. "I get it, Grandpa," she whispered. "I finally get it all." She reached for the record to take it off the player, and that's when she noticed it. The center label was glowing. Part 4. Aino leaned closer. The label, which she'd read before, which had Grandpa's message, was shimmering with silver light. And new words were appearing, forming letter by letter. "My dearest Paprika. If you're reading this, you've completed the journey. All 7 tales. All 7 lessons. I'm so proud of you. I knew the days after I was gone would be hard. I knew you would struggle. You're so much like me, fierce, intense, unable to do anything halfway. When you hurt completely. When you love absolutely. That's not a weakness. It's your greatest strength. I left you these tales because I couldn't be there to guide you through your grief. But music, our music, metal and symphony and raw honesty, could do what I couldn't. Could show you what I needed you to know. You don't have to choose between darkness and light. You are both. Christmas doesn't have to be one thing. It can be everything. And you, my beautiful, fierce, perfect granddaughter, you don't have to fit into anyone's box. You are exactly who you're meant to be. I'm not really gone, you know. I'm in the music. In the snow. In every winter morning, in every metal song, in every moment you choose to be honest instead of easy. I'm in your strength and your stubbornness and your big, big heart. But it's time to let go of the record. Not of me. Never of me. But of this particular magic. These tales were for your healing. Now that you've healed, not finished healing, healing is never finished, but started healing, the magic will fade. The record will just be a record again. And that's okay. You don't need magic anymore, Paprika. You have everything you need inside you. Play the music loud. Be fierce. Be real. Be yourself, always yourself. Make mistakes and learn from them. Love completely. Grieve honestly. Live courageously. And know that every Christmas Eve, when the world is dark and cold and covered in snow, I'll be there. In winter's heart. Waiting to be remembered. Waiting to be reborn in your love. Merry Christmas, my Paprika. Thank you for being exactly who you are. All my love, forever and always, Papa. The glowing faded. The words remained for just a moment longer, then disappeared, leaving only the original label, Christmas Metal Tales Symphony, Libretto Orchestra and Company. Aino was crying so hard she could barely breathe. But she was also laughing. Laughing and crying and feeling so full of love she thought she might burst. "Thank you," she sobbed. "Thank you, thank you, thank you." She lifted the record gently and placed it back in its leather bag. Her hands were shaking. She held the bag to her chest for a long moment, feeling its warmth. Then she carried it downstairs. Part 5. Mom and Grandma were in the kitchen, preparing the Christmas Eve dinner. The smell of ham and casseroles and fresh bread filled the house. "Aino," Mom said, turning from the stove. "There you are. Can you help with?" She stopped, seeing Aino's face. "Sweetheart, what's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong," Aino said, wiping her eyes. "Everything's right." She held out the leather bag. "I want to show you something." They sat at the kitchen table. Aino, Mom, and Grandma and Aino took out the record. She told them everything. About finding it in the attic. About the music pulling her into different worlds. About demons and festivals and Santa's army and Rudolph and snowmen. About all the lessons Grandpa had left for her. Mom cried. Grandma held her hand over her mouth, eyes wide. "He knew," Mom whispered. "He knew exactly what you'd need." "That's what he did best," Grandma said softly. "Saw people. Really saw them." "He saw you too," Aino said to them both. "He left this for me, but the lessons are for everyone. Christmas belongs to all. Remember?" Mom laughed through tears. He always said that. Christmas belongs to everyone who needs it. Can we? Aino hesitated. Can we play it? Tonight? During dinner? Just regular, not the magic way. Just as music? I think, Mom said, smiling, Grandpa would love that. Part 6. At noon, Aino met her friends at the local cafe. Miko was there, along with a few other kids from school. Sarah, who was into art. Tuomas, who played guitar. Emma, who was quiet but smiled a lot. Aino. Miko waved. Over here. She slid into the booth next to them, feeling nervous but not scared. Different but not alone. I like your shirt, Sarah said, pointing at the Iron Maiden design. Are you into metal? Yeah, Aino said. My grandpa got me into it. Well, sort of. It's complicated. I've been trying to get into metal, Tuomas said. But I don't know where to start. It's all so much. Aino smiled. That's the point. It's supposed to be much. Here, she pulled out her phone. Let me make you a playlist. Some of my grandpa's favorites. They spent the next hour talking about music. About bands and songs and what they meant. Aino found herself opening up, telling stories about Grandpa, laughing at memories that had seemed too painful just weeks ago. He sounds amazing, Emma said quietly. He was, Aino said. He really was. I'm sorry you lost him, Sarah added. Thanks. Aino smiled sadly. But I'm learning that he's not really lost. He's just different now. Transformed. Miko tilted his head. That's a cool way to think about it. Yeah, Aino said. It is. When they left, Miko walked with her part of the way home. You seem different, he said. In a good way. More. I don't know. More you? Aino thought about all 7 lessons. About accepting all parts of herself. About being fierce and honest and real. I think I'm just finally figuring out who he is, she said. Well, I like her, Miko said, then blushed. I mean, you know what I mean. Aino laughed. Thanks, Miko. I like her too. Part 7. Christmas Eve dinner was at 5 o'clock, as it always was. The table was set with Grandma's good china. Candles flickered. The Christmas tree lights twinkled in the corner. There were 4 plates set out. 3 for the living. And 1 empty chair, for the one who was gone. Swedish tradition, Grandma explained when she saw Aino looking. We set a place for those who can't be with us. So they're part of the celebration anyway. Mom brought out the food: ham, salmon, casseroles, fresh bread, salads. Everything Grandpa had loved. Before they ate, Aino stood up. Can I do something? She asked. Of course, sweetheart, Mom said. Aino went to the living room and returned with the record. She placed it carefully on Grandpa's empty plate. He left me this, she said. A Christmas present. The best present anyone's ever given me. And I think he'd want to be here with us. Through his music. Mom smiled, eyes shining. Let's play it. They set up Grandpa's old record player in the dining room. Aino placed the record on the turntable with steady hands. She lowered the needle. The music began. Tenebri Natalis. Umbra Festum. The demonic choir filled the room. Mom and Grandma looked startled at first. This wasn't typical Christmas music, but then they started to smile. This is so Maddie, Grandma said, laughing. Absolutely him, Mom agreed. They ate dinner as the music played. All 7 songs, one after another. The aggressive metal and the soaring opera and the Latin chants and the symphonic power. No magic happened. No portals opened. It was just music. But it was enough. When Christmas Metal Belongs to All played, they sang along to the parts they could catch. When the breakdown hit Belongs to All, they shouted it together, laughing. During Rudolph's Metal Power, Mom told stories about Grandpa's obsession with Christmas lights. He'd put them up in September if I let him. Said winter needed all the light it could get. During Snowman, they were all quiet, listening to the melancholic beauty. Aino saw tears on Mom's cheeks. Grandma held her hand. When the record finished, they sat in silence for a moment. Then Grandma raised her glass. To Matty, who taught us that Christmas doesn't have to be gentle to be beautiful. To Papa, Mom added, who knew us better than we knew ourselves. To Grandpa, Aino said, her voice steady, who gave me one last gift. Who showed me how to be myself. Who taught me that transformation isn't death, it's just a different kind of life. They clinked glasses. Outside, snow began to fall. Part 8. After dinner, Aino excused herself and went outside. She stood in the backyard, in the falling snow, and looked up at the dark sky. Merry Christmas, Grandpa, she said into the night. I hope you can see this. See me. See who I'm becoming. She thought about everything she'd learned. All 7 lessons. All 7 worlds. Darkness and light. Unity and individuality. Responsibility and freedom. Power in difference. Beauty in impermanence. All of it was true. All of it was Christmas. All of it was her. I'm going to be okay, she told the sky. It still hurts. It probably always will. But I'm going to be okay. Because you taught me how. The snow fell on her face, cold and clean. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for being exactly who you were, so I could learn to be exactly who I am. She stood there for a long time, just breathing, just being. Present in the moment. Present in her grief and her growth and her gratitude. Eventually, she felt a hand on her shoulder. Mom had come outside. It's cold, Mom said softly. I know. Aino smiled. But it's a good cold. Real. Honest. Mom nodded. White Christmas. White Christmas, Aino agreed. They stood together for a moment, mother and daughter, both grieving, both healing. Come inside when you're ready, Mom said. We're going to watch a movie. Something with explosions, I think. Grandpa's kind of Christmas movie. Die Hard? Aino guessed. Of course. Mom laughed. What else? After Mom went inside, Aino knelt in the snow. She patted it with her hands, forming shapes. A sphere. Then another. Then another. A snowman. Simple, like a child would make. Coal eyes from the garden shed. A carrot nose. Stick arms. She stood back and looked at her creation. There, she said. Now you're here too. In a different form. But still here. The snowman stood silent, exactly as snowmen should. But in the curve of the stones that made his smile, in the tilt of his stick arms, Aino could almost see Grandpa. Could almost feel him. I'll rebuild you every winter, she promised. Every Christmas Eve. So you come back. So you're reborn. So you're always part of our celebration. But in winter's heart I'll wait, for another frozen fate. The song echoed in her memory. Aino touched the snowman's cold surface once, gently. Then she turned and went inside. Part 9. Christmas Day dawned clear and bright. The shortest night was over. The light was coming back. Aino woke early and lay in bed, thinking. 1 year ago, she had woken up to Grandpa's phone call. 1 year ago, he had been alive, loud, fierce, present. Now he was transformed. Like the snowman. Like music that plays and ends but can always be played again. Like snow that melts but returns every winter. Not gone. Changed. She got up and went to her window. In the backyard, her snowman stood in the morning light. Solid. Real. Waiting. Her phone buzzed. Messages from friends, Merry Christmas. Hope you're having a good day. Thanks for the playlist, it's awesome. Another text, from Mrs. Virtanen, Merry Christmas, Aino. See you in the new year. Keep being wonderful. Aino smiled and typed responses. She felt connected. Part of something. Not alone. Downstairs, she could hear Mom making coffee. The house smelled like cinnamon and warmth. Aino went to her bookshelf and took out the leather bag one more time. She opened it and looked at the record. It was just a record now. No glowing. No magic. Just black vinyl with a silver label. Christmas Metal Tales Symphony, Libretto Orchestra and Company. The journey was over. But the lessons would last forever. Aino placed the record back in its bag and set it on her shelf, in the place of honor. Next to it, she placed one of Grandpa's other records, Black Sabbath's Paranoid. A reminder that his music, his spirit, his teachings would always be there when she needed them. She touched both records gently. Merry Christmas, Grandpa. Thank you for everything. Then she went downstairs to join her family. Part 10. They spent Christmas Day quietly. No big celebrations. No forced cheerfulness. Just being together, remembering, healing. In the afternoon, they looked through old photo albums. Grandpa at concerts, hair wild, throwing horns at the camera. Grandpa with baby Aino, teaching her to headbang. Mom rolled her eyes at that one. Grandpa at Christmases past, always wearing band shirts, always grinning. He really never changed, Mom said fondly. Why should he? Grandma replied. He was perfect as he was. Perfectly imperfect, Aino added. Perfectly himself. In the evening, they went outside together. The three of them stood around Aino's snowman, bundled in coats and scarves. He would laugh at this, Mom said, looking at the simple creation. A snowman for Christmas. Very metal. It's perfect, Grandma said. Simple. Honest. Real. Aino thought about the snowman from the record. The one who knew he would melt but lived fully anyway. The one who waited in winter's heart to be reborn. Every Christmas, Aino said. I'll build one every Christmas. So he comes back. We'll help, Mom said. All three of us, Grandma added. A tradition. The Virtanen Christmas Snowman. They stood there as the sun set, watching the snowman glow pink and gold in the fading light. Temporary but beautiful. Impermanent but meaningful. Like all things. Like life itself. Part 11. That night, before bed, Aino sat at her desk and opened her journal. She had started writing in it after completing the essays for Mrs. Virtanen. Writing helped her process things. Helped her understand. She wrote. December 25th. My first Christmas without Grandpa physically here. It was sad. I won't lie about that. It hurt to see his empty chair, to hear his favorite songs and know he wasn't singing along, to build a snowman and know he couldn't see it. But it was also okay. More than okay. It was real. We didn't pretend he wasn't gone. We didn't force ourselves to be happy. We just were what we were, sad and grateful and loving and grieving all at once. The record taught me that's okay. That Christmas, real Christmas, accepts everything. All emotions. All experiences. All of us, exactly as we are. 7 songs. 7 worlds. 7 lessons. 1. Darkness is part of Christmas. It's okay to be sad, angry, not okay. Demons celebrate too. 2. Christmas metal belongs to all. Everyone deserves to belong. There's a place for everyone, exactly as they are. 3. Actions have consequences. Responsibility matters. But it's never too late to learn and grow. 4. Your difference is your power. Like Rudolph's red nose, what makes you weird makes you special. 5. Real Christmas can be brutal. No sugarcoating. Honest and raw and true. 6. Everything is temporary. Like the snowman, we all melt. But we also return. Transformation isn't death. And the final lesson, the one that ties them all together. 7. You can be all of these things at once. Dark and light. Alone and connected. Sad and happy. Strong and vulnerable. You don't have to choose. You can be completely, wholly, perfectly yourself. That's what Grandpa wanted me to know. That's what he gave me. I miss him. I'll always miss him. But he's not really gone. He's in the music. In the snow. In the metal that plays too loud and the honesty that cuts too deep and the fierceness that's too much for some people. He's in me. And every winter, he'll return. In memory. In love. In the snowman we build and the songs we play and the stories we tell. Merry Christmas, Grandpa. Thank you for your last, greatest gift. Thank you for teaching me to be myself. I love you. Forever. Your Paprika. Aino closed the journal and looked out her window. The snowman stood in the moonlight, silvery and ethereal. Tomorrow would be December 26th. The world would keep turning. Life would go on. She would go back to school after break. Would do her homework. Would hang out with friends. Would learn and grow and make mistakes and try again. She would live. Fully, honestly, fiercely. Just like Grandpa taught her. Epilogue. 1 year later. December 24th. Aino stood in the backyard, hands covered in snow, putting the finishing touches on the snowman. She was 17 now. Taller. Stronger. More herself than ever. Mom and Grandma came out to admire her work. Perfect, Mom said. Just like last year. Just like every year will be, Aino added. The tradition had stuck. Every Christmas Eve, they built a snowman. Simple. Honest. Real. A way of saying, we remember. You return. You're still here. Aino's phone buzzed. Miko, still on for tonight? My place, 8 p.m.? She typed back, yeah, definitely. Bringing the Christmas metal playlist. Things had changed in a year. Aino had friends now. Real friends who knew about her love of metal, her complicated relationship with Christmas, her fierce heart. They accepted her. Celebrated her. She had also started a club at school, Metal Appreciation Society. 10 members so far. They met once a week to share music, go to concerts, talk about what metal meant to them. Brotherhood in metal sound, as the song said. Mrs. Virtanen had become her mentor. Aino was getting good grades now. Not perfect, she still struggled sometimes, still had bad days, but she was trying. Taking responsibility. Growing. And most importantly, she had learned to live with grief. It didn't go away. The sadness didn't disappear. But she had learned to carry it. To make space for it alongside joy and love in life. Like the snowman, temporary, beautiful, reborn every winter. Ready to go inside? Grandma asked. Dinner's almost ready. In a minute, Aino said. When she was alone, she knelt beside the snowman and touched its cold surface. Hi, Grandpa. Merry Christmas. Year 2. She smiled. I'm doing okay. Really okay. I got an A in English. Made some good friends. Even went to my first metal concert, Nightwish. You would have loved it. The snowman stood silent, smiling its stone smile. I still miss you. Every day. But I'm learning to live with that. Learning to be sad and happy at the same time. Learning to be myself, just like you taught me. She stood up and brushed snow from her knees. The record's on my shelf. I play it every Christmas. Not for the magic anymore that faded like you said it would. But for the music. For the memories. For the lessons. The backyard was peaceful in the twilight. Snow fell softly. Inside, warm light glowed from the windows. Thank you, Grandpa. For everything. For seeing me. For loving me. For giving me one last gift that keeps on giving. She turned to go inside, then paused and looked back. See you next winter. In the snow. In the music. In winter's heart. But in winter's heart I'll wait for another frozen fate. The song played in her memory as she walked to the house. Behind her, the snowman stood in the falling snow. Silent. Present. Waiting. Just like it would every Christmas. Forever. Inside, the record was already playing. The opening notes of Demon's Christmas Carol filled the house, familiar now, comforting, like an old friend. Aino hung up her coat and joined her family at the dinner table. 4 places set. 3 occupied. 1 empty but honored. They held hands, Aino, Mom, and Grandma, forming a circle around the table. To Maddie, Grandma said. To Papa, Mom added. To Grandpa, Aino finished. Who taught us that Christmas accepts everything? That we can be everything. That being ourselves is the greatest gift we can give. Metal in his heart, Mom said. Fire in his soul, Grandma continued. And love in everything he touched, Aino completed. They ate dinner as the music played. All 7 songs. All 7 lessons. The journey that had saved Aino when she needed it most. And outside, in the falling snow, the snowman waited. Temporary but eternal. Gone but present. Transformed but unchanged. Like music that ends but can always be played again. Like love that transcends death. Like winter's heart, where spirits wait to be remembered, to be reborn, to return. Every Christmas. Forever. The end.